said they feel ready to go. Can you just give us a sense of what you thought and what the process will be from here?
Yeah, look, I was excited. They both looked that they've made a lot of progress. I think there's, we're going to do some infield, take some BP. Motor talked about wanting to see them swing in BP in a BP setting, but very encouraged with the way they felt. And, if it continues that way through the rest of the workout, then we'll have some decisions to discuss overnight for sure.
Kevin, just to follow up on that, do you have to check with him in the morning, or is this something you think you'll know by the time this day is done?
I think it would probably be wise for us to continue to check with him in the morning. If we have the time, why not?
And then with Glasnow going tomorrow, just what's your level of confidence with him starting a series, especially the way he bounced back in his last start to end the season?
Very, very confident. I mean, Glas has put together a really solid 3 months for us. His last start, very encouraged by that. And his last postseason start, we couldn't have got much better. So if we can bottle all those up, mirror them together, we got a really good pitcher starting this thing off for us.
Hey, Kevin, Rock Raleigh, Tampa Free Press. How nice is it to open up and to be able to play this series here at the Trop? Hometown fans, I know it gets really loud. How nice is it?
As opposed to playing in 40-degree weather at noon, it's better. We're excited. Look, our fans, there's no doubt we play very well here. I don't know the exact reason why, but to be able to set it off at the Trop with our fans behind us should be pretty exciting for our players, myself, the entire organization.
Kevin, just we learned from Josh today the news about his mother and just what he's been able to do this season. With that, I'm sure a huge center point for him personally. Just what can you say to him as the individual, more than even the baseball stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that information was out, but we talk about the season that Josh has put together here, and you're right, with all that stuff on his mind back home, it's that much more impressive. But that entire Lowe family is very impressive, from Josh to Nathaniel, mom, dad, everybody. And this has got to be pretty special for them, and I'm glad it's happening.
Hi, Kevin. Mark Parker, St. Pete Catalyst. And this is a kind of a continuation off of that. What do you think it says about this team to, overcome a lot of adversity to make a fifth straight and secure home field, for a fifth straight playoff appearance?
Look, I think we're all proud of what we accomplished in the regular season. Teams have adversity over 6 months. It's inevitable. But we're fortunate that we've had just a solid group of people inside the clubhouse, players. The staff has done a tremendous job of keeping the vibe. But I also think that's kind of what you would expect when, Eric and Pete go out and acquire people, or we internally develop them. You want to have good players, and we're fortunate that we have good players and good people. We're fortunate that we have both.
Glasnow's career has, because of injuries, has had sort of an up and down quality to it. With the stuff he has, can this postseason be, not that he's not thought of as an elite pitcher, but can this be a breakout kind of moment, a Bumgarner kind of series postseason for this guy with the stuff he has?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I look at it, I'm biased, but I look at it like he's kind of been that for us. Kind of every step of the way through all these postseasons. He's pitched really, really well. The body of work maybe during the regular season isn't consistent with some of those other guys, but Glas has shown the ability to kind of dial it up. And I will say this is not the healthiest, but like the most normal going into a postseason that he has been, because it's always coming back from injury, building up last minute. He's been built up. He's got to his 6-7 innings, 100 pitches. So he's in a really good spot. But yes, I agree with that.
Kevin, it's a little unique. You may have a handful of rookie-type guys on the roster for the postseason. Just what benefit you think they had of playing in some of those games over the last week or so? Obviously, the big crowds in Toronto and that type of situation.
Yeah, look, I don't know yet, but I hope it was a benefit. Those crowds, 40,000 plus, I think, for all 3 games. And they were meaningful games. And if they're meaningful for one team, they're going to be meaningful for the other. And I felt like we certainly played that. The middle game went back and forth. Yesterday's game, we needed to score a lot of runs. So I mean, ideally they got more reps, but the reps they got we're going to take, and I think we're better for it.
Kevin, what was the preparation like for the Rangers, especially given how fluid the situation was entering the postseason, and you didn't quite have a grasp on who you were going to play until sort of that final day?
Yeah, I mean, our advanced crew that's been kind of boots on the ground in the ballparks where the Rangers have been playing, and then certainly our internal group, we just had a meeting, and they did a tremendous job. A team that we're somewhat familiar with. We haven't played them in a while. A little different than maybe the Blue Jays, where there probably wouldn't have been that extensive of a meeting with the familiarity, but so appreciative of their work. Feel like we got up to speed, and now the staff, and we can give the messages that we think that are important to the players, and hopefully it gives us a little bit of an advantage.
Well, Kevin, Evan Grant from the Dallas Morning News. I got to ask you this. If you guys got a handle on the Rangers, can you let us know what it is? Because they've been completely schizophrenic for the last month.
They're a really good team. Look, their offense, what they can do, their pitching. I know the injuries have really snuck up on them here as of lately. We've been through that, and we've found ways for guys to step up. I wouldn't be surprised if they're, capable of doing the same thing. But as far as I'm concerned, the Bruce Bochy's as good as anybody in baseball. And when you've got that presence at the front, they're tough.
Hey, Tyler, can you just talk about the feeling that you have maybe coming into this postseason, restriction-free? Obviously, given last year, your start was a little bit limited. Just the way that you're feeling about that?
Yeah, it's exciting. I think we've had a few over the years, and I think just coming off of all the injury stuff, having no limitations is definitely more of a freeing feeling for sure. Just back to normal.
Can you talk about how you felt in that last start? You mentioned maybe an adjustment that led to you feeling like you finished the regular season strong.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of working with Kyle throughout the year and just kind of trying to get back to being consistent every 5 days and stuff. And I think I figured out some good stuff and just trying to keep my direction to home plate, and it's been feeling better as of late.
During your career here, you've started 1 out of every 8 of your starts or something like that has been in the postseason. Can you just talk about how comfortable you are at this stage compared to maybe where you were in 2019?
Yeah, I think it's everyone's dream. I guess the reason you play baseball is to try and go as far as you can in the postseason. And I've been fortunate enough to be with such a good organization, and we've had the chance every year I've been here, other than 18. So I think the more experience you have doing something, the more comfortable you get. It's obviously still full of emotions and whatnot, but it's definitely exciting.
As we go into the postseason, has the pitch clock and the shift rules become an afterthought for everybody?
Yeah, I don't really think about it anymore. I mean, sometimes randomly I'll have a violation and be oh yeah, I probably should speed up a little bit, but I don't. I think from the beginning of season to now, it's not much of anything I think about.
Okay, Tyler, can you speak about, Kevin earlier talked about how this team has had overcome so much adversity. Can you speak to that effect of how the players and the staff have helped everybody get to this point? And, of course, yourself, you missed the first 2 months of the season.
Yeah, I think just the culture here is very, relaxed. I think we kind of worry about the things we have to worry about instead of, trying to put a bunch of external stuff in there. It's very much just go out and play baseball and take care of the things you have to take care of, So I think when things do come up, it's we kind of reinforce that don't worry about it if you don't have to. Let's just try to go out, have fun, relax, and just have a good time, kind of. And I think it's been super beneficial. And we've kind of been prone to injuries the last few years, and I think just the depth we have has been pretty awesome. I think next man up mentality, and everyone just steps up and does well. So I think it's a testament. It's nice that I guess we have so much depth, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
Over on your left, Tyler.
Tyler, you just mentioned all the postseason experience you guys have had the last couple of years. What type of advantage is that when you get to this stage? The Rangers are coming in as a team collectively not having that. What type of advantage is that for you guys?
I think maybe just prehand going in, having the experience, knowing what to expect and knowing what you feel and I guess how to manage all that. I think baseball is still baseball. I think especially in the big leagues, any team can be good at any time. But I think just kind of being on that routine, I guess, for the last 5 years, just kind of knowing what it is beforehand is probably some of like the benefit.
I'm sure you've got complete confidence in the rest of the guys in the rotation, but not having McClanahan, Springs, Rasmussen here, do you feel any additional pressure starting game one here?
Not really. I think it's something we've dealt with for like quite a bit of time, like even previous years, and it's just kind of been like I went down in 21 and like just I think it's happened a few different times, and I think we've had the same kind of staff, I guess, the last couple months or whatever, and we've kind of played each game that way. It definitely sucks. Those dudes are amazing, and you wish they were on our team. I wish they were like able to start, obviously, but I think it's one of those things that we can't really control. We have to just move on and try to play with what we got.
I wanted to ask you about Yandy. You've been teammates with him now for a number of years. What have you kind of come to appreciate most about him, both as a hitter and then kind of as a teammate in person?
I think he's always been a really good hitter. I mean, like even in AAA, he would like dominate me, and I would just be like, I don't understand. I'd see him in AAA and be like, why are you still here? He'd be like, I don't know. So he was always just really good at hitting curveballs. I remember that was like such an outlier thing in AAA. Like I had a good curveball and like no one seemed to square it up, and he just like every time would just like sit on it if it wasn't a strike, and then he just hit it if it was. So, and then I guess when I first got to know him here, he was a lot more like shy and quiet for sure. I think just being traded, that kind of happens, I guess. Like you don't know, like you can kind of go wherever you want. I think as the years went on and he kind of stuck around more, and then he signed that extension, and I think him having like more of a permanent type of home, or like knowing he's not just going to get like uprooted. He's always been an awesome dude, but I think he's like totally come out of his shell, and he's very like, he's just like the funniest dude ever. So I've gotten to know him pretty well over the years.
Tyler, after what's happened the last couple of years in the postseason, the early exits in 21 and 22, what sort of is there any additional expectations of like, okay, we've got to be able to make a deep run with this group?
No, I think when you start thinking like that, it just adds like unnecessary pressure. I think it's just you have to take each game at a time. I know it's like cliche and boring, but you just kind of have to deal with what you have in front of you at the time, and then you play each game and like live in the moment, I guess. It's a little cliche too, but like it's just that's the best way to think about it going forward.